Hello everyone, this is Matt. I wanted to um, have a good visualization for this before the meeting, just because I know sometimes it's a little difficult to bring up these layers before we meet on that computer. So just wanted to make sure that I was able to communicate with you guys what I was seeing. So this is the most recent version of BRAT that I've ran, and first of all, we there are a couple of issues that I just see with the tool so far, and just in case we don't get to all of this in the meeting, I think there's still some things to work out with Braden's BRAT Braden's braid tool. And what I'm basically seeing is that I went in and manually coded the clusters, the side channels being 0 and the main channel being a value of 1 for the is main stem section, or how would I word this? Attribute column, and did all those edits, and what I'm seeing is occurring is we'll just take this side channel right here. So we've got a is main stem. I've coded it as 0. Unfortunately for the drainage area, it seems to have not really changed the drainage area for many of these braids that I've coded in. It's just included in them as a high drainage area, even though it's a 0. So I'm getting these drainage area values that aren't true, and therefore I'm not seeing a distinct pattern between a main stem and the rest of the rest of the cluster, or the side channels. So, and then I will say the other thing, and Joe and I talked about this, is that there's these instances where you actually have the main stem or a large river going through the watershed boundary. So we'll bring up the watershed boundaries right here, and you can see, you have all your headwaters up here in this section, and then you go further down, and it starts adding up the drainage areas down here, right? Like you would a normal watershed. But with this river for the Yakima, I'm seeing that this main stem actually originates from further up in another watershed and then comes into this one and kind of just flows through. And the issues that I'm seeing is basically drainage areas are not true for the main stem, and so when you go in and you put your threshold, it only cuts off right about here with my threshold, and if I were to go further up, it would include all of this in that threshold, because it has a drainage area of 0 up here, or very low drainage area. So something that Joe and I talked about was to actually add, just select all those main stem sections and add the flow accumulation from stream stats to it. The other thing that I'm seeing is that and we'll take off this, put on this, is that I'm seeing a funny reaction happening with the conflict potential, and I'm getting let's just click on on one of these, and we can see, all right, so we got a potential conflict score of 0.99, and what I'm seeing is that, it comes from either the railroad or road X, and I'm still digging in a little bit to it, but Joe and I kind of figured, it's getting these values majorly from the railroad, distance from railroad. But I have no idea why this is red over here, why it's, a bad score. If there's any input that you might have, Sarah, towards this, we can look at it a little bit later. But I'll send this data to you, and we can kind of interrogate it a little bit during the meeting. So anyway, talk to you guys soon.